Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are having a little session today. I'm Jason Schmidt with Old Tom and Tacticam, and I got Jim Burns with me again today with Quaker Boy Mossy Oak, and we're kind of talking today about hunting hen-dub gobblers. I think most of us have been in a situation where a gobbler, he's tied up with hens, right? And it can be frustrating as a turkey hunter with the many things that go along with it. But we wanted to come up with a few tricks that maybe you could try out in the field this year. One thing we want to keep in mind in everything we do is safety first. No matter if you're hunting public land or you're hunting private land, you want to keep that at the forefront. So we wanted to kind of give you some insight whether you wanted to use decoys or if you don't want to use decoys. So we just want to kind of play with that a little bit today and try to shed some light and try to provide some tips that could help you. So tip number one today is what we think is, if you've got a gobbler that's henned up, kind of give him some time. Let him go do his thing. Let him breed, let him chase those hens, do what he's got to do, and then maybe what my tip would be, is kind of stay in front of him, okay? Don't spook him, stay in front, keep an eye on him if you can at all times, and just try to make your moves kind of like a chess match. Stay in front, kind of let him do his thing, because at some point in time, he's going to leave those hens. So if you've got the time to hunt in the mornings, or if you can hunt all day, just kind of do that and try that out. And we've had a lot of success doing that as well. So but
right now, and then you could even take it a little bit further and maybe just leave the bird alone. Just leave, go back home, have some lunch if you can hunt. If it's an all-day situation during the season, you come back in the afternoon. Or maybe you just got to come back the next day or in the next week and come after him again, because eventually he'll run out of live hens and come looking for something else. But let's say you don't have time, right? This is the last day you've got to hunt, the only day you've got to hunt, whatever that may be. So you've got to do something, right? We got to try. We got a gobbler that's he's vocal. He'll answer your calls, but he's not going to leave those hens. So one of the other things you can do is try to start a fight with the hens. There's always kind of, especially if they're in a little group, there'll always be a boss hen, and she'll be talking a lot. And if you can mimic her calls, sometimes you can irritate her enough, and she wants to come over and take on the other girl. And hey, guys like to see girls fight, so that gobbler's going to come right behind her, hopefully, and come watch and see what's going to happen. But again, in that situation, if that hen's making 3 ups, man, you make 3 ups. Right back at her. She's just clucking, you cluck back at her. Whatever she does, you want to imitate that to rile her up and get her to come looking for that other hen. And again, with the hope that that gobbler will be in tow. So yeah, create a little bit of jealousy.
Yeah, kind of playing onto that imitating. Listen to her sound. If she's content, that a lot of times might not work. But if she is responding to your calls and she's got that high pitch, that loud, like I'm talking back to you,
aggressive, yeah.
Play off of that, and then, as Jim says, just imitate her. Give her those clucks and those cackles and whatever she does. Give it back to her. And a lot of times they'll respond and come right in.
Come right in. Yep. The other part of that is again creating the jealousy factor, playing off of that. Again, like Jason said earlier, safety is always first. If you're on public land, I don't think I would try this tip. But private land, if your own land, you can do that. A lot of times, again, gobbler's responsive. He'll answer you, but he's with hens. He's not coming. So you got to create an environment that needs him to be aggressive, to want to go fight, get into a match, run another gobbler off. So if you have a shaker tube, always carry a shaker call, a gobbler call with you. A lot of times, again, you can get there, you call for a little bit, he answers you, then just shut up. You shut up for 5, 10, 15 minutes, don't make anything, and then hit the gobbler call. And Quaker Boy makes a great shaker, but a lot of people make shakers, and you can hit that. And again, what you want him to think now is, oh, I got another gobbler that's popped in, and calling back to my lady friends, right? Jealousy, he's going to come and try to run you off. But again, it's a tip to be very, very cautious with. Again, as we just can't emphasize it enough. It's safety, because you don't want some hunter trying to sneak up on you because you're using a shaker call.
Yeah, that's real accurate, you know, because a lot of times you'll have hunters that can't distinguish, you know,
right,
between a real call and
yeah,
a fake call, just because of how well these calls are made. So definitely keep that in mind.
This tip with the again, the jealousy is the use of decoys and how to set those up, and how to use those.
Yeah. So, you know, using decoys, if you're into that, we've used decoys, had a lot of success with them, and I've had decoys hurt me before. So it's kind of, you got to know the situation. You got to try to know the birds that you're hunting to be able to use those successfully. Having a Jake decoy, that immature gobbler, having that into the scene with a hen, I think is a great combination, because a lot of times those birds will actually see that Jake and they'll come running in. I know we had a hunt 3-4 years ago, and if we didn't have the decoys, we would have never got those gobblers to come down. I feel like just the way the situation was playing out. We had a Jake come in, and he actually came in and was trying to breed a hen decoy, and these two gobblers didn't like that at all, and they actually were leaving us chasing real hens, and they actually turned, did a 180 and came right back to us. So
it's a great double that day. It's a great morning.
That was.
Yeah. The other thing with decoys that I've always thought of is situations is the environment you're in. I think they work great when there's a lot of open or a lot of visibility where the gobbler can see a long distance and see those decoys. Again, it attracts him and gets his sight off that. I've not had a lot of success and don't use one a lot if I'm hunting in the woods. You know, there's a lot of cover, a lot of ground stuff, because I'd rather have that gobbler coming in and looking for me, looking for that call. And you just don't have a lot of line of sight to a decoy that's really going to distract that gobbler, because I want him to come looking. You know, he's walking behind trees and in bushes and stuff. I want him looking for that call, because he's just not going to see a decoy when you're in thicker or heavier stuff. But I think decoys are the best use in fields, when you're in field edges or wooden like that, when it's open and there's a lot of visibility and they can see them. And obviously it takes their attention off of, and you might have a pop-up or you might be sitting against a tree, right? And it's not necessarily a lot of cover, so that the decoy helps because it attracts his attention away from the caller or the calls he's hearing. So that's just another way you might want to use or not use decoys.
Like I say, I'm a big fan of woodsmanship. A lot of times if you have that henned up gobbler and he's going away from you, and you're in a thick cover where the trees and everything can be used to your advantage, use the terrain.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
hide behind hills, cross in some dips, do some things like that. Like I say, use your surroundings and use that to your advantage to try to get in front of that gobbler. Because if you know where he's headed, you know, if he's headed to a big open field or he's got a bench that he's trying to get to, you know, maybe loop around. You know, loop around the backside of a hill and try to cut him off. You know, and you don't have to use decoys for, you know, things like that. So,
I mean, there has been times where you and I have been in hunts where we've gone back and jumped in a truck and drove around to another side of a hill to get in front of birds coming across to get there, because they're not going to talk, they're not going to respond. So the best thing you do is get in front of them, let them basically walk right into you because they're coming in that direction.
Yeah, you know, I think you know, something you can do is, you know, study the area that you're hunting. Okay, you know, a lot of the land that we hunt is private. We're familiar with the territory. We do get into some situations where, you know, some land that we haven't been in, but I think using like a topo map or using one of these great apps that are out there, Onyx, HuntStand, you know, there's so many things that tools that we can use to our advantage to learn the layout of land, and I think that will help you kill some hen-dove gobblers as well.
Right.
So like I said, I believe that's all we got for you today. Thank you all for joining us. If you would do us a favor and make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share it. So we appreciate y'all joining us.
Check out Tacticam, check out Quaker Boy. You know, great bunch of calls, great bunch of tools to use. Have some fun with them, and be safe.
All right, thank y'all. See you next time.
Take care.